122. Again, the Suns were more competitive than they had been in the previous 3 games. They just could not find a way to knock off the defending champ.
I'll say it again. Going into this series, I considered anything that happened with the Phoenix Suns from that point forward to be still a successful season. But man, does it suck to get swept. It really does suck to get swept to end the season. But at the end of the day, the Suns, we could not have possibly imagined them being even at this point in terms of how this season would go. The ride is over, so to speak. The Suns lose to the Thunder in this Game 4, swept out of the first round by the defending champions. Final score 131-122 this Monday evening in downtown Phoenix. Welcome into Phoenix Suns postgame here on Arizona Sports, here on the Arizona Sports app, and on the Arizona Sports YouTube channel. My name is Mitch Farrell. Happy to have you along one last time as we're going to put a bow on this season, potentially look ahead to what's next, and reflect on what a season it was. This is also a call-in show, so if you want to call in, share your thoughts on this season, this game, what have you. I'm all ears this evening. 602-260-9870. Again, that number is 602-260-9870. You can also hop into the Arizona Sports YouTube chat, the live stream. You feel free to shout your thoughts into the YouTube chat. I'll try and catch as many comments as I can. And off we go, right? We're here. It's over. And look, it's kind of bittersweet that it ends this way. Did I have expectations that they would be able to pull off some sort of miraculous run in the postseason, especially when their draw ended up being the Oklahoma City Thunder? No, I didn't, and I hope that's okay with all of you. But either way, it's been a very weird last couple of months of Phoenix Suns basketball, and yet overall it was a spectacular season, all things considered. You've got this completely reconstructed roster. You got a first-time head coach leading the charge. You got a first-time general manager who had been with the organization since Matt Ishbia took over as owner. And you're thinking to yourself, well, how in the world is this team supposed to win more games than they did a year ago if all they could muster with the likes of Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker at the forefront, coached by 2 former championship-winning head coaches in Frank Vogel and Mike Budenholzer? How in the world is a group that subtracts all of that and all of that frontline star power supposed to win more games than the year prior? And frankly, I'm still shocked that it even ended up that way. But I'm proud of this group. In spite of all the negative things that I've said throughout the year, it takes a ton to be able to get to this point and to accomplish the things that the Suns did this year and really do it in such a manner that made Phoenix Suns basketball enjoyable again. And it makes it easy to forget about all the negative things that we had to go through the year prior, all of the negative noise that seemingly existed as a result of having certain individuals as a part of this organization. You know who I'm alluding to, so I don't have to go too deep on that. But for it to end like this still stinks. It still sucks. And, in a similar pattern to how the Memphis Grizzlies fared against the Thunder last year, the pattern was kind of the same if you consider the 4 games. Blown out to smithereens, basically, in Game 1 in Oklahoma City. Game 2 was still a blowout, but a far more amenable result or amicable result than the one on the night prior. Game 3, you've got the home crowd behind you, and seemingly you've got some spurts, you've got some run. First playoff game in about 2 years, and just can't put it together. And then something similar tonight, where this was trending horribly, quite frankly, the way that this game started and the way things were going, in particular for Devin Booker, who was able to salvage what was an otherwise rough performance tonight. They were able to keep this close to the point that this was the lowest margin of victory that the Thunder had all series, a 9-point victory tonight, whereas all the others had double-digit margins of victory for Oklahoma City. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander decided to be the most valuable player in the 2 games that he had in Phoenix. Last night, he was 15 of 18 with 42 points. Tonight, pretty darn close to that, but not as amazing as 15 for 18, but still pretty darn good. 10 for 17, 31 points. He was also responsible for 8 of the team's 28 assists in this one. Surprisingly, it was a -7 when he was on the floor, which is kind of funny, but he showed just how valuable he can be. He got plenty of support tonight shooting-wise. The Thunder shooting 50% from 3, something they've not been close to be able to do in this series. They also shot 54% from the field. Suns hung tough in that category, though, for sure. 53% from the field for the Suns, and they even won the possession battle with 8 extra possessions. 14 of 39 from three-point range. That's the best that they've done in this series as well, with Colin Gillespie leading the way, 6 for 11. You had 5 double-digit performances from the Suns. That's the most of any game that the Suns have played in this series. So overall, you could say that there was a trending upward trajectory in terms of what the Suns have been able to accomplish, but they just flat out stood no chance. It's too slim of margin for error against this team to be making the mistakes that the Suns made and expect to come out on top. Surprisingly, one of the things that I think I'm most impressed by just looking at the statistics tonight, the Thunder turned the ball over more than the Suns did tonight. Yeah, I read that right. The Thunder turned the ball over more than the Suns did tonight. 17 turnovers for Oklahoma City, just 12 for the Suns after 10 in the first half. Massive improvement in that respect. There was some awesome stretches in this one. I'm not going to be that guy who points the finger in the air and says they should have been playing Rasheer Fleming the whole time, but I did find it kind of funny that he immediately checks into the game for the first time all series, and the Suns rip off the second half of what was an 8-0 run, forcing the Thunder to call a timeout. I'm curious to see how things are handled with him going forward. I hope he becomes a pivotal part of the team's rotation next year, because the flashes that he was able to show late in the season were nothing short of impressive from a physical standpoint. If we're just microcosming this to the game itself, it's hard to win a game when you've got inconsistency from your star players. And what I mean by that is the following. First half, Dillon Brooks 6 for 12, Jalen Green 4 for 12, Devin Booker 0 for 3. Ugh. Second half, if we're looking at the Suns, Devin Booker 8 for 13, Jalen Green 6 for 13, Dillon Brooks 4 for 7. You just can't have that much of a seesaw with your 3 main guys. You just can't. You need as much as you can from everybody. And I know I'm harping on a game that ended up with a 9-point differential, and I'm harping on a game that, quite frankly, the Suns, this was their best performance offensively in the series. But if Devin Booker plays anything close to a Devin Booker style basketball game in that first half, we're probably talking about getting ready for a game 5. You cannot have 6 turnovers, all of which came in the first half, in a win-or-go-home game. You just can't, especially if you're the team's best player. Assist-to-turnover ratio in that category, by the way, was 1. 6 assists, 6 turnovers. It's just not going to get it done, unfortunately. There's a long offseason ahead. I look forward to what the Suns are going to do over the next several months. They really can't do anything until middle of June when the draft rolls around. They got a whole summer of free agency to look towards. There's a lot of questions that'll need to be answered about this team. I'm looking at the multi-salary table, or the multi-year salary cap table right now. Here are the following members who are under contract for next season: Booker, Green, Brooks, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Kaman Malawach, Ryan Dunn, Oso Iguodaro, who's only guaranteed $250,000, dollars on his contract next year, and Rasheer Fleming. You've also got appears to be a club option on Jamari Bouyer's contract that could be picked up for $2.5 million next year. Haywood Highsmith, I thought I had understand that to be a 2-year deal. I'm not seeing it that way on Spotrac, but either way, or Spotrac, either way, there's a lot to figure out next offseason for this team, and the questions are going to be pretty loud, especially depending on how you look at it. Do you look at it from, I saw the version of this team that is successful in the first half of the year, or are you, I'm going to be super pessimistic, about what I saw in the second half of the season? Whichever side you're on, both sides need to come to an agreement that this team is just not good enough to compete at the level of trying to win a championship. And if you don't believe me, watch back the 4 games that they played against the best team in the NBA, and then come to that conclusion on your own. Okay, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. I want to hear from all of you. 602-260-9870. Again, 602-260-9870. If you want to call in, share your thoughts, or feel free to scream your thoughts in the Arizona Sports YouTube chat on the live stream. Hello, YouTube. Hope you're doing well. I see you all screaming at one another in there, having a good time. As always, we'll come back and react more next on the Phoenix Suns postgame show here on Arizona Sports 98.7, the Arizona Sports app, and Arizona Sports on YouTube.
Luke Lipinski back to tell you about Twin Peaks, the ultimate man cave sports lodge where you can keep up with all the baseball, basketball, hockey, and everything else going on right now. If it's on, it's here. And they've got massive screens and perfect sight lines so you can catch every single memorable moment right as it happens. Game day watch parties, event nights. You couldn't ask for a better spot than Twin Peaks with their entire menu made for MVPs as well, and the great scenery and environment that they're known for at 5 convenient Phoenix locations now. There's one nearby wherever you are in the valley. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where fine jewelry is always crafted with care no matter the price. Mother's Day, birthdays and graduations, weddings and anniversaries, the new job you got, and even the one you didn't. Give a birthstone necklace, a heart-shaped locket made in Italy, or high-quality diamond studs you can trade up every year. At Shane Company, we have something for everyone, because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
Arizona Sports Suns postgame, hosted by Mitch Vareldis.
Green gets around a screen from Fleming, splits the defense, gets to the rim. Layup goes again with the left hand. Jalen Green percolating here in the fourth quarter. Back-to-back drives to the hoop. He's got 19 on the night, and it's a 7-point game, 109-102.
What a fun word there, Bloomer. Percolating. I like that one. Jalen Green would finish with 23, same as his former Rockets counterpart, Dylan Brooks. 10 of 25 for Green. He was the leading shot taker in this one. 1 of 10 from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals for Green. Getting handsy, if you will. Suns lose, get swept in 4 games to the Oklahoma City Thunder in this first round playoff series. 131-122, the final score, the lowest margin of defeat that the Suns have had all series. Welcome back into Suns postgame here on Arizona Sports. Mitch Varel is back here with you in the Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort studios, hanging out on 98.7 on the Arizona Sports app and on the Arizona Sports YouTube channel. What's going on? I see you there. Jeff Jeezy, Bill's Carnage. What up, Schmoes? What up, Jeremiah? Hope you guys are all having a very nice evening in spite of the result. This is also a call-in show, so let's talk about it. 602-260-9870. If you've been waiting on hold, thank you for your patience. It's time now for Joey in Ahwatukee is going to kick off this edition, this final edition of Suns postgame for this season. Joey, what's going on, man?
Hey, Mitch. First time, long time. All right, I just want to say, I don't like how the offense looks when it runs through Jalen. It just looks awkward, and I miss when it was going through Booker, obviously. And then I think we had to bring up the topic of maybe hey, we have to look about dealing Book, kind of moving on. I don't know. It feels weird to talk about it, but I think it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. And also, Mitch, a question for you: is a hot dog a sandwich? Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you so much. I'll hang up and listen.
You can't give me the difficult questions like that to close out a call. Come on. Oh, that's so rude. Thanks for calling in, Joey. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging around all season as well. So first and foremost, the important question: no, a hot dog is not a sandwich. At least not in my opinion. Second of all, I'm sure you're not going to be the last person to bring up any sort of Booker-related discourse or any sort of Booker send him on his way. Look, I don't want to be the guy that says, yes, trading away Devin Booker is going to solve this team's problems. I think this team's problems, frankly, go beyond Devin Booker. And part of it is that I've seen a successful basketball product around Devin Booker not too long ago, and they have completely deviated from what has made that version of Suns basketball successful to the point where they basically have to start over. I think this season, from that aspect, is miraculous, if I'm being honest. The whole season was miraculous, don't get me wrong, but there's a version of this Suns team that works with Devin Booker. It's not this one, though. And the sooner they figure out how to get that version back, maybe I'll feel better about it. Or, you know what? Maybe I'm just wrong and Booker is regressing and he's going to be making a ton of money and it's going to be a deadweight contract and it's going to linger on the Suns' books for years. And then I just look like a stupid idiot. One of those two things is going to happen. Either they're going to figure out how to properly build a team around Booker that works, because I don't think this one does in spite of the 45-win season, or they decide that they can't win with him, which would suck. It would really suck. But sometimes you got to make tough decisions as an organization. Look, if we're being honest, trading away Kevin Durant was a tough decision. It had to be done, but it was still a tough decision. That's, if you're zooming out, that is a future Hall of Famer you just decided to trade away. Trading away Chris Paul, that was probably a tough decision. Was it the right one? Nah, it doesn't really seem like it, if we're being honest. Saying goodbye to Monty Williams, I'm sure that was a tough decision. Was it the right one? I don't know. Did you see how he coached in Detroit the next year? And have you seen what the Pistons have done the last 2 seasons without him as their coach? I don't know. You decide on that one. Either way, I'm ranting. It's time to talk with more of you guys. We've got Kevin and Benji calling in from Phoenix this evening after this Suns loss. What's up, Kevin and Benji? How are you guys?
Hey, and here's my dad. So we actually just went to the Suns game and are coming back. One thing that we were really frustrated about was the foul calls. We saw SJ in the first or second quarter just throw the ball up and it got the call, and in the third or fourth quarter, Booker did the exact same thing and it was a no call. That upsetted me. I thought Booker actually handled the double teams really well, and then also what I really want the Suns to not do, I don't want them to trade away all the pieces. I think we have a relatively good core, and even though we might not be in championship contention, as long as we're not in that lottery and someone doesn't get our first Take number 1 pick in the draft. I'll be happy. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, and so to give my counter, the thing my son and I have been kind of arguing about is how much does the NBA really just give deference? I think all of us hated to see whenever Booker had that technical against him, and we're all scratching our heads like, how in the world does Caruso ask for a technical? Remember when Jordan would ask for something, he'd get it. This is Caruso, so there's obviously some star power thing. But I think something else, though, you see Booker missing free throws and stuff like that. I feel like Booker wants to play, this is my feeling, wants to play basketball the old way. I feel like he could go out there when he's having an off night and be like SGA and figure out how to flop his hands. I see these guys, they look like those silly monkey dolls where they flop their hands around like him and Holmgren. I'm like, come on, guys. I'm totally with Brooks on that. I'm like, this is playoff basketball. You can't get touched with fingers and go flopping. Anyways, there's a lot to unpack there, but I feel like Booker sees it, and I feel like it's almost like, how he's saying like WWE. He feels like he's the face guy that's expected to fail, and I feel like that's hitting him hard. And I feel like he's just got to get pissed off about it and say, he's a good player, consistency. And like my son said, you got to stop blowing it up. You got to let these guys learn each other.
Some very good points from the both of you. Kevin, Benji, appreciate it. You guys get home safe from the game. I think that last point that you had there is the most important. You cannot just decide to blow up a roster every single year. You cannot decide to move on from your coaching staff every single year and just hope that things are going to get better when you've got all of this constant churning and cyclical behavior of a basketball team. It's not going to bring any more success than you would already be hoping for, right? And what I mean by that is this. Think about the last 4 years of Suns basketball. So the way that it ended in the 23 postseason, the 24 postseason, the way that ended, the 25 season, which obviously had no postseason, and then this season. Think about those last 4 years. That's 4 different head coaches. Okay. That's 2 different GMs. That's 2 different owners. And that is a plethora of Devin Booker teammates as well. Devin Booker is the one carryover from the team back in 22 or 23, to the team that they have now. That is without looking up to double check my research, but it's okay. I'm trying to make a point on the fly here. There are guys that are worth keeping and worth trying to continue to build this foundation around. The Suns are not really in a position where they can just, continue to churn the roster aggressively around Devin Booker. They need to land on something, right? They need to land on a head coach who's going to be here for more than 1 year. They need to land on supporting cast members who are good enough to hang around for more than 1 year. And they need to land on a rotation of guys that are good enough to consistently go out there and win basketball games. Like think about the successful teams in the NBA right now. The Thunder, for example. They've had that core of guys for the last several years, and it has brought them to where they are right now, right? There's not been a ton of messing around with the other pieces, right? Like the biggest change that they made was trading away Josh Giddey to get Alex Caruso. And look at where it's gotten them, right? As much as we're frustrated with how he in particular handles things, but in general. The Spurs, a lot of it is draft luck. And that's all I'm going to say on that. And then you consider some of the other teams that have been successful. The Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, those guys have been the core. They put together a team that had complementary pieces of Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Jrue Holiday. All those guys are gone, but they kept on to Peyton Pritchard, who was a draft success. Derek White, who was a steal of a trade acquisition from the Spurs a few years ago. They have really good infrastructure. And if the Suns are going to get anywhere close to where any of those teams are right now, they need to build up that infrastructure. And that's exactly what they're trying to do now. So they have time, but not a lot of time for Devin Booker, if that makes sense. They have time as an organization, not a lot of time for him, though. Let's take one more call, and then we'll take a timeout. Again, to call in 602-260-9870. Again, 602-260-9870. Cody and Gilbert is up next here on the Suns postgame show. Thank you for your patience, Cody.
Hey, Mitch. Good to talk to you one more time.
for the last time.
I got to say, I wasn't able to go to the game. I've been sick for the last week plus. So I didn't get to go Saturday either. Luckily, my brother was able to use my tickets, and he and his stepdaughter got upgraded, which was super nice. So that was fun for them. And I didn't even get to watch most of this game except the fourth quarter because I was in a board meeting. I can tell you, I can promise you, it was far more fun, I bet, to be watching the Suns, even with them losing, than being sitting in an HOA board meeting. If you've ever been to one, you know why.
Nothing about a board meeting sounds any more exciting than a basketball game. I just want to make that clear. Nothing about a board meeting. All right, continue.
But maybe that makes me appreciate this a little bit more and not get frustrated. I get people coming out of the games because I'm like that, and I get frustrated and I get mad. So maybe it was good to not see it. I actually was looking for, you gave me the catch up at the start of the fourth quarter. And when I heard that the Oklahoma City Thunder was shooting 50% from three, I'm like, well, we're going to lose. So I was resigned to the fact that we were probably going to lose because you needed them to miss shots to win. That's as simple as it was. And then started thinking, and I realized, you know what? It's probably a blessing. As much as I hate the plan, and I will go to my death saying that they should have been the 7th seed, and probably could have given the Spurs a little bit more of a challenge. It's good that we got Oklahoma City Thunder because you know what? Sometimes you got to play the best team and realize, wow, man, our weaknesses are bad. And they were, right? And that's what you need to realize. 2 years ago, we lost to the Timberwolves and got swept. And Ishbia came on and said he was proud of the team, he liked the direction, all that kind of stuff. My question is are they going to learn a little bit this time? Because fast forward 2 years, we got swept again. We didn't change enough. We changed the deck chairs in the Titanic 2 years ago, and it was worse the year after that. I'm not saying you need full-scale change, but I am saying you need to realize your weaknesses aren't going to get better if you just kind of do some moves around the edges. You've got to try to be bold. You've got to try to make swift decisions that might work, they might not work. But the reality is, with the way that the salary cap is, and the way that the Suns are set up, they don't have a lot of margin for error at all. And everyone who says just go trade Booker, if you want to go back into the dark ages where you do not have a guy who's going to get you 26 and 7 night after night, go for it. I don't want that because I think you need him and you need what he can bring. And as much as people say he has no more upside, he has no more ceiling or any of that stuff, you know what? He is a good enough player to be a main player. And I'm not going to say the main star, but a main player on the championship team. He has always been best when he's had a good playmaker with him. That's what CP3 was. I don't think you need a point guard. I think you need a playmaker. If you get a good playmaker, which is really hard to find and might take some risks to get to, you might have a shot. I'm proud of this team. It was way more fun to be a fan of them this year than it was last year. Way more fun. And I hope people can realize and appreciate that. And one last thing, it could be worse. We could be the Pistons. See you, Mitch.
Could be the Pistons right now. Cody, thank you so much for calling in and sharing your thoughts on this one. What was a really rough finish to what was otherwise a fun ride of a season. Thunder with the 131-122 win, ending the Suns season in 4 games in a 7-game series. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back, get some more thoughts from you guys. 602-260-9870. Again, 602-260-9870. Or you can hang out in the Arizona Sports YouTube channel's YouTube live stream chat. What's up, YouTube? Hope you're doing well. Sarah, real chatty Kathy in there. What's going on, Sarah? Are you all right? Is everything okay? What's up, Bill's Carnage? Jorge, Steve, Kai, hope you guys are doing well. We'll come back and we'll get more reaction next here on the Suns postgame show.
When the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971, gold was fixed at $35 an ounce. Fast forward to today, and the U.S. dollar has lost over 85% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold has increased in value by over 12,000%. Central banks are buying gold at record levels. Major firms are holding significant positions in gold. And I choose to buy gold from Birch Gold Group. Stan Bongino, and it all starts with education. Birch Gold just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. This free online event rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up to get free silver on your next purchase if you qualify. And you can get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you can earn. But act now. This special event only runs through April 30th. So text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to join Birch Gold's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April 30th. Text Dan to 989898 today. Message and data rates may apply.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener, like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to it at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
KMVP FM Phoenix, live from the Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort Studio. Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. Arizona Sports Suns postgame, hosted by Mitch Vareldis.
The basket, Booker moves to his right. They work it over to O'Neal on the left wing. He'll try another three and buy another three. How about Royce O'Neal stepping up? He's 2 for 2 from deep. Has 8 points off the bench, and the Suns are back within 7. Minute 10 to go in the third.
Royce splashed a couple of threes in this one and then had a really awesome putback bucket. Finished a perfect 3 of 3 for the evening. 7 rebounds, 2 on offense. One of those offensive putbacks where he was diving into the paint and then went up, grabbed it, and put it back in. That was awesome to see from Royce. I don't think I've seen that once from him, at least this year. I don't want to assume about other years for Royce. Finished with 8 points coming off the bench in this one. Suns lose tonight. Season is over. Postseason run is over. Thunder sweep the Suns out of the first round. 131-122, the final score tonight. Lowest margin of victory for the Thunder in Game 4 of the series. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Welcome back into Suns postgame. Mitch Vareldis back here with you, hanging out with you on 98.7 on the Arizona Sports app and on the Arizona Sports YouTube channel. Hope y'all in the YouTube chatters are doing well right now. Let's go back to the phones as we wait to hear from Suns guru Kellen Olson, which will be coming up sometime in the next few minutes or so. We'll see. But either way, it's time now to hear Kelly's thoughts. Kelly in Surprise is up next here on the Phoenix Suns postgame show. What's up, Kelly? How are you?
Hey, what's up, man? Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's bittersweet right now, Kelly, if I'm being honest. But, you know, we're doing all right.
No, absolutely. No, good to talk to you, man. It would have been cool if we could have got a win. I feel like the game we played, it looked like we definitely could have. That 16-point swing to end the second half was brutal. I do want to say happy late birthday to Al McCoy. His birthday was yesterday. He would have been 93. Shout out to you guys, dude. Yeah, I love listening on the radio. The guys did awesome today. Also, I mean, I cannot get over the fact of the flopping that we see from the Thunder and the amount of free throws they get. It's pretty insane. I think it was like 20 free throw differential throughout the 4 games. I think it was 14 today. So I know some people like to look at that and go, well, you know, that wasn't the decider of the game, but a 14-point swing is pretty big. But it is what it is. It's today's NBA. I think SGA is a tough, freaking hard to watch player as far as an MVP goes, the amount of flopping they do. But anyways, but I digress. But I think it was a great season overall. I'm really proud of the guys. Jordan Knott, I think we got really fortunate with picking up that guy. I think he's doing amazing as a new head coach. But it's like I feel like we are at a fork in the road, and, you know, we don't want to blow up teams. But, man, I look at this team this season, and I feel like we were a better team, more cohesive prior to Jalen Green. We played defense really well. It was the identity of our team. And I like the idea of that being the identity of our team in the future, being a defensive-minded team with Booker as the best offensive player. But I understand if you look at Jalen Green, like those 2 35-point games he had in the play-in were great, right? I think that one got us the victory. So, he is very young. He has a lot of talent, a lot of raw talent. So I don't know if this small ball team with Booker and Green being our two best players, making over $100 million combined, is something that's feasible in this NBA. So I'd almost lean towards us moving on from Green. But hey, great season. I love Booker. I love for him to stay with the Suns, and I'm excited for the next year. Thank you.
Appreciate you calling in, Kelly, and sharing your thoughts. Yeah, this one is going to be a tough one to digest from that aspect in terms of how can you strike that chord? How can you get that balance of making the team better without overdoing the reconstruction of the roster? Because I do think there has to be some form of reconstruction with this roster, whether it's aggressive or not. I don't really agree with the over-aggressive tactic. I think there are some adjustments that can be made that make this a success. It really sucks that we only got like 4 minutes of Jordan Goodwin in this series. I really would have loved to see more of him. He's been awesome for the Suns. I would throw whatever money he wants at him if I'm Brian Gregory. I would say similarly to Colin Gillespie, who finally had a breakout game in this game 4, 7 of 12, 6 of 11 from 3 for 20 points. Series high for him. I just don't know how they're going to do it and what they're going to do. Like, there needs to be some sort of plan of action with this group. And I'll say this too. I really don't want them to go the star hunting route again. I really don't. I just think it is such a bad strategy in this day and age of the NBA. You either have to get really lucky that you draft those stars and develop them into those next stars, or you have to have already had that foundation in place for a couple of years and are building off of that. It's not always going to work out. You just need to build the most conducive roster. You need to decide that Devin Booker is your franchise guy. He's your centerpiece, and you need to do everything you can to build a successful roster around him and what he's good at. Not what he wants, what he's good at. There's a big difference between those two things. He could want whoever he wants, but if it doesn't lead to him producing at a winning level or struggling offensively or what have you, having the night that he had tonight up until the second half, you're not going to get anywhere with that. So a lot of questions to be asked. And then to your point about OKC and the flopping and the way that team is officiated, I know, hold on, I want to make sure that I get his name correct because he's called me out on it before and I want to be fair to him. Calvin in the YouTube chat. Calvin, I see you. I hear you. I know you're not alone when it comes to frustration with the officials and particularly this team. I know you're not alone when it comes to the flopping that we see. I thought it was egregious in game 2, was it? The way that the Thunder were being officiated. Like, I swear Chet Holmgren is like, he pretends that he all of a sudden has a back spasm anytime that somebody is trying to box him out. And it's just, it's so bad. But, the way that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is officiated, I thought at least some of the calls were fair. Not all of them. There's a big distinction in that. In general, this is the team that a lot of people, a lot of players, a lot of coaches get very frustrated by because they seemingly get the benefit of the doubt almost all of the time. And I know people can go back and look at stats and say, well, they don't nearly get that many foul calls. Yes, they do. Okay? 25 personal fouls on the Suns, 20 on the Thunder. It led to 26 of 30 from the free throw line, to Kelly's point, and 12 of 16 for the Suns. There's two parts to that, though. Part number one, the Thunder do a lot of driving to the basket, and teams have exploited the Suns in the paint a lot this year. So keep that in mind, even though that is a part of their strategy and being able to try and create that contact, even if it is very, very marginal. Problem number two, the Suns only go to the free throw line when they're desperately trying to get called to go to the free throw line. This team does not exploit the paint as much as they should and does not drive to the basket nearly as much as they should on shot attempts. They drive to the basket to try and create open shots on the outside, which is fine because it's part of an offense, but there needs to be a balance to it. And the frustration with the officials is only going to grow until the league does something about it, unfortunately. Okay, I've got word that we've got our Suns guru Kellen Olson ready to go from down at the arena. So to Mark and to Jackie, hang tight. We're going to get you guys shortly here, but right now I've got Kellen Olson joining me from the arena. I see him on the video. I'm waving to him on the video. He's smiling. He's smiling because the Sun season is done. No, I'm just teasing. That's not why he's smiling.
I'm not, man. Don't put those words in my mouth, my actions in my. You've got plenty of radio listeners who can't see me physically moving. You know what? I would have loved a championship run. This sucks, but it's been fun at the same time. Don't put those words in my mouth. How dare you?
Okay.
We're really going to end on this note, Mitch. We're really going to end on this note.
I just want
our relationship back and forth throughout the season. Come on, man.
Am I going to get replaced on the night show? Is this what's happening? Is you're going to flex your muscles and then I'm
And now you're acting like I have control over those types of things. If I had control over those types of things, Mitch, I would slam the table. Mitch Veraldes stays put. How dare you?
I'm only teasing. Kellen Olson joining us from the home court for the final time this year. It's funny because you had alluded to the Memphis series that the Thunder played against the Grizzlies last postseason and how they had this very track of getting blown to smithereens in game one, a little more competitive game two, a little more competitive at home, and then the closest margin of defeat in game four. Literally the same pattern, Kel. I don't think you could have scripted it because it literally happened back-to-back seasons for this team.
For sure. And I think that my main takeaway from the game as a whole was that we saw Oklahoma City at their near best, I would say, at least offensively, for sure. I looked up a lot of the numbers. This is tied for the most threes that they've hit in a game since they started becoming this like juggernaut of a team 2 postseasons ago. This was their third highest effective field goal percentage in any game in the playoffs. So they really forced a high-end offensive performance from OKC. And Shea was pretty good. He was fantastic, of course. He was nowhere near what he was on Saturday, but he was pretty good. But the problem was Hartenstein, massive double-double. Chet, massive double-double. AJ Mitchell was fantastic. Alex Caruso was great. And Oklahoma City needed every bit of that. Defensively, I would have liked to see more from the Suns if I'm being picky with that in mind, and just some of their rotations weren't quite there. That was mostly in the first quarter, though. And then offensively, this was back to like the team that we saw in the first half of the year. So I don't know how many people out there like into the moral victories, like taking solace in a loss kind of thing, but the team went out in the way that you would hope, at least with like a return to the quality. That was the best game that they've played in probably at least, I would say, 3 months.
There was the stretch, like as soon as Rasheer Fleming came in, and I'm sure there were plenty of other people in our positions that are like, haha, see, they should have played Rasheer Fleming this whole time because look what happened. There were some mistakes that he immediately made. Shocker, because he hasn't played legitimate minutes in a while. But it was, I agree, the flashes of what you could have gotten in this series if you had explored those options a little bit sooner. Like, from our perspective, we kind of chalked it up as Thunder are probably going to win in 4 or 5, whatever, so you might as well throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And they were very staunch in their ways, the Suns were, in terms of who was getting the minutes, who was getting the opportunities, who they would go to in results of an injury. And I'm not going to say that was their downfall because they probably would have lost anyway, but it does kind of make me wonder what we could have gotten out of Rasheer if he'd have played any extra game in this series. You know what I mean?
I will raise my hand, Mitch. I will say it. It was not their downfall. It was not the reason that they got swept in this series. I've said this point. I'll say it again. You could have the spirit and embodiment of Red Auerbach take me over, whichever greatest basketball head coach that there ever is. And I could give you the 3 most tactical and precise adjustments for the Suns to make in this game to counter what Oklahoma City does. The bottom line is, if the Suns don't play super expertly well and the Thunder just play good enough, then you're just not going to win the game. And this was Oklahoma City at like an A- or an A. The Suns were just about near an A+, in my opinion, in terms of what you could reasonably expect out of them. And you said it there. Rasheer made 2 huge plays. He had a block and he had a steal. And then he took those 2 possessions back by committing an offensive foul and then reaching in when he shouldn't have on the other end for 2 points. So it's just, that's the balancing act of a rookie. And again, you could argue, I guess, that if he had been playing more throughout the season, he wouldn't have made those mistakes. I don't think that's the case against the best team in the league in the playoffs for his first ever postseason, but I just really don't want to go there when it comes to like ifs with this series, because there were no ifs. They were going to get swept no matter what, because what did we see, Mitch? Whenever the Suns offered a great shot, Oklahoma City brought it back. So if the Phoenix would have played better, Oklahoma City would have just played even better. That sounds like nonsense, Mitch. When they went up 7 in the mid-second quarter, the most momentum the Suns have had all season, they finally have control of a game. What happened? Oklahoma City scored on 11 straight possessions, Mitch. 11 in a row. This is just what these kinds of teams do. So adjustments, fouls, whatever. Like they just would have played to that level because that's what championship teams do, and that's what they did. And I hope that Suns fans can see that, both just with feeling better about the future and like the way that they should, but also just accepting that this was kind of the reality that they were going to be given with this drop. If there's anything to be mad about, it's losing to Portland, right? Like that's where you should be upset, because San Antonio was certainly more vulnerable, and we could have talked about, man, oh my gosh, if we would have seen the Suns team we saw tonight against San Antonio, that would have been a real series, right? It's just not going to happen against these guys. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know Cody has been pounding the drum about the way the play-in tournament works, but I'm with you. Like, if they're good enough, they should have just won the game in the first place.
Just
like,
beat Portland. Whatever factors, just beat Portland. That's entirely in the Suns' control. Just beat Portland. When you're up that big, don't completely melt down and throw up all over the court behind me and lose the game in that kind of way.
Well, we wouldn't want that to happen, because then that's quality control. That's guys bringing out the mops.
Metaphorically speaking.
All right.
Of course.
I wrote down the one run that stood out to me was when the Suns had the 55-48 lead. I think I know where you're going to go with this, but calls a timeout, or forces Oklahoma City to call a timeout. 5:32 to go in the second quarter. 27-12 run to end the first half. It's stuff like that one makes the Thunder as good as they are. Their ability to come out of timeouts and just rip through the opponents like that. And number two, it's been the story of this entire series where the Thunder can immediately halt the Suns' momentum at any point in the game and then just come back out and be like, all right, here we go. SGA is going to drive into the paint that way, or Chet is going to be ready on the baseline for a lob at pat. It's just that right there is a microcosm of this entire series to me, is as soon as the Suns get any sort of momentum, Oklahoma City just grabs it and takes it right back from you.
100%. Yeah, it's exactly what I just talked about. And again, to bring it up again, at that timeout, Oklahoma City had 11 offensive possessions to end the half. They scored on all 11. Like, it's just what these caliber of teams do. And it's what Shea did too. You noticed around like the 7 or 8 minute mark of the second quarter, when again, he was not so much deferring, but making the right play, not overextending, trusting his teammates who were hitting threes still. But what did he do? He realized he had to start to take over the game a little bit and just clean up whatever the first 18 minutes were. And he did it in a snap with the 27-12 run. That was a lot of him. And I thought another embodiment of how great Oklahoma City is that during that run, Mitch, he took SGA out. Like, Dagnall took SGA out because he has so much trust in these other guys. They score on 3 straight possessions. SGA comes back in. He hits that 3. He sets up a couple of Mitchell threes. Like, this team is just phenomenal. So I hate to keep harping on the other team when we're supposed to be talking about the Suns, but it's kind of the point I'm trying to make here, and hope people really do realize the caliber of opponent that this was, and they continued to prove it. Like, that's what you and I are going to always talk about when we talk about this series years from now. It's going to be whatever the Suns did, like, to here, Oklahoma City just raised it to there. And even if it was down here, up there, over there, wherever it was, that just continued to happen over and over again.
The overall hope is that they build off of this series and it leads into what many could determine a successful summer, or just what they can determine a successful summer. I'm very curious to see how things shape up. But look, this is a tremendous start either way. We're still very proud of what they've been able to accomplish this season, and surprised, quite frankly. I am, at least. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, Kel. I really am, because if this was how it was going to start in the Jordan Ott, Brian Gregory era, then hopefully it only goes up from here, because it was a really fun season looking back on it overall.
Yeah, tons to look forward to for next year. That was not the case last year. Of course, there's like a lot of potential moves that they have to make to kind of nail this thing. We talked about that last year. They didn't quite get it, and I think in the last 3 months of the season we saw that. But with that being said, there's been like at least a floor set for what we can expect out of this team, and we didn't expect anything out of them a year ago. It's a good time to have that.
Kellen, as always, we appreciate it, and thank you so much for all the coverage that you've done all season long. You get a long rest in Cancun now, brother. You've earned it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for working with me throughout the year. It's been a ton of fun to do this with you, whether it's like big playoff games or just like that second game in 2 nights on the East Coast swing in Charlotte when they're down 30 and no one's listening. Anyway, shout out to Allie, shout out to Lawrence. You'll have all those shout outs at the end of the show,
yeah,
I'm sure, and any other names that I'm forgetting. But thank you to them for working with me and getting me on quickly when I'm coming from the arena on super late nights. And look forward to doing it with you all again next year.
And shouts to Jeremy, who's down with you right now, got everything set up for
Nope. Jeremy gets no shout outs at all. Get your hand out of the shot. What are you doing? You get nothing.
Kellen, thanks. We'll talk again the next time we have a night show, all right?
Thanks, man. Sounds good. Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m.
Here we
Stay
go.
tuned.
Thursday for a power hour. That's Kellen Olson joining us from the arena for the final time on this edition of Suns Postgame Show. All right, I promised callers before we wrap up this segment here, we're going to leave an open segment to close out this edition of Suns Postgame, just to look at what's next and go from there. So, Mark and Jackie, first of all, thank you so much for your patience. Really appreciate you guys hanging in there through that segment there. Jackie in Glendale is up next here on the Suns Postgame Show. Jackie, thank you for your patience. Appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome, Mitch. Hey, I got a question for you. I was listening to Tim Kipton and John Bloom that was calling the game tonight, and I know D Book had like a off game. I would have liked to see him go out there and score like 30 or 40 points, but I think the Suns also had they had a good season this year too. People weren't expecting them to go get into the playoffs, make the play-in tournament and stuff. They have good things going forward. They got Kaman Malawach, they got for sure Fleming, but I also would like to see them develop those young guys and also see what Obi Bria could do like next year too with the Suns too. And then maybe they can probably add a defensive mean rebounder, a player that can get in there, help with rebounds and stuff with the Suns, because I think they also kind of missed Mark Williams too, being in that center position too.
Jackie, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. I do think that center is going to be a position that is going to be very much highlighted this offseason. I do think that is a true weakness of this team, and we've seen it, unfortunately. Not that Mark Williams being absent was the issue, I think, or no, that was poorly phrased. Apologies. I think Mark Williams being absent at least would have tempered the amount of paint presence that OKC had. I know at the end of the day, they only had 50 points in the paint in this game, but a lot of that was because their three ball was falling. And the point seemingly has just been exploited for most of the season when it comes to facing the Suns. Mark at least was able to deter most of that. I know Oso is a different type of big. He's a little more crafty, much more for the offensive side, but he has his defensive ability too, being able to switch very, very quickly because he just has that kind of speed. But in general, it's an area that has been a bugaboo for this team all year. And maybe the fix is in-house. Maybe Kaman Malawach just becomes an amazing center next year, lives up to being the 10th overall pick. He's got so much time to be able to become a dude, right? He's got so much time to be able to become a big bruising center in the NBA. He's 19 years old. He's only played basketball for 5 years of his entire life. Hasn't even played that long. He's got so much more room to grow. I hope that he becomes that next centerpiece, pun intended, for this group. Because if he ends up being a hit, then that's another true success. It's been a while since they've had a draft pick success the Suns have had. You could consider Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson draft successes, but I don't know how to feel about Ryan Dunn. Also, there seems to be a lot of division around him and his abilities with this team. If Malawach is a success, if Fleming is a success, then we're going to start to see this go right back on track because they need to hit on some of those draft picks, what little draft assets they have available. All right, one final call, and then we'll take a timeout. Mark in Phoenix, thank you so much for your patience, Mark. You've got the word here on the Suns postgame show. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for your show. First time calling in. Hope I make some sense here. I'm going to disagree with some of what you said.
Okay.
The season was gut-wrenching to watch. It was absolutely fantastic before the All-Star break, and after that, it just was gut-wrenching. I've loved this team forever. Literally since Alvin Adams and before. And there's a lot of us out here. It is very common for the Suns to be complimented on how loyal and enthusiastic their fan base is, and we have a strong fan base forever, literally since the franchise started. We deserved a playoff. We deserved to see something. So I hope that there's some urgency. I hope that Ishbia in the front end is listening to your show, and I hope that there's a sense of urgency to get something done this year coming up. I think we blew it hiring the big three that we had. I think Booker could be part of the team, but what's missing, and one of the guys earlier had talked about it was a playmaker, a point guard, whatever you want to call it. What's missing is the heart of the team. Where's God, and I can't even, the Barkley or the Davis, the guy that is just the Suns and wants to win every single night, wants to carry the team if he has to, and wants to berate the teammates that don't realize every single chance to play, every single chance is a gift, and they shouldn't squander it. And, yeah, I'm going to come out and say it. I think we made a huge mistake when we traded away Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul could have grown Booker into being the heart of the team. What's clear is he's never going to be that. I think he can be a key point maker, but we've had 2 and 3 guys that can throw in 20, 30, 40 points a night, and we still lose. It's gut-wrenching to watch a team give up in the third or fourth quarter, and if not giving up, give up 20 points. I mean, it's just gut-wrenching. So I really hope they take this off season to rethink. I hope that Ishbia does what he said when he came and he bought the team. He said that I've got the urgency, and he proved it with his money, and I hope he does it again, that he has an urgency. He wants to win every single season, and I hope that we do that next year, because the years go by. You wait another year. If it's 28 that we're trying to form a team around Booker, that's a joke. And we need to put together the effort. I'll tell you what really broke my heart was when we didn't have the Ganas and we didn't have the guts to come out as a team, the Suns, to win the 7th seed play-in. That was when I knew that we were done for this season. And it's not surprising to me that we got swept in 4. I love the team. I really do. And that's why it hurts. So I'll be interested in what you have to say.
Mark, I appreciate you calling in and putting your heart there on your sleeves. Really do. It's the Suns fans like you that are obviously the most passionate and have gone through the many, many years of frustrations and heartbreak that this team has put a lot of devoted Suns fans through over the years and over the many years that they've been here in Arizona. And you know what? You're right in the sense that this is not a team that can just wait around and hope that things are going to get better by just kind of committing to this group. There needs to be, and I know I said earlier I don't want them to go aggressive, and what I mean by that is they can't just go out and go star hunting again. They can't just go out and expending what very few resources that they have to try and build this into a winner. They have to, and maybe this is just counteracting everything that I was arguing against already, and maybe I'm just sounding like a hypocrite when I say this, but there has to be some way to build this team back to being a true competitor again. And not to say that this version wasn't a true competitor. This team very much flamed out at in the second half of the season. They need to find some way to sustain that success that they had in the first half in the second half as well. Maybe that's roster construction. Maybe that is lack of playing time that some of these guys have had together. Like Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker, that's supposed to be the core 3 of this group. They barely had any time together. Barely. And by the time that you get to the games that matter and you're playing postseason games against Portland and Golden State and Oklahoma City, you just didn't have enough time to make sure that you could fully connect as a team and fully be aligned, so to speak. They have some assets that they could utilize this offseason. I don't know what the best course of action is. I have thoughts. I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but they have clear areas that they need to address. First and foremost, the center position. Will that be something that they upgrade via in-house, or will they be able to upgrade it by other means? Secondarily, I think that this team needs to find a way to get Booker off the ball more. Not to say that I do not want Devin Booker on the ball. I think there needs to be more of a 75-25 split, or maybe even a 60-40 split, where he is more off the ball than he is on the ball. He is so good when he is off the ball, whether it's finding ways to create an open look for himself or finding ways to set up a back screen to create an open man for somebody else to get that shot. And he's so good as a playmaker, but in limited doses. It just cannot be he is 50-50 on this. It has to be more one the shooter, in my opinion, than the other. And there can be a balance between the two, but I think those are the two things that I look to first is finding a true center or finding somebody that can at least dominate in the paint or create some rim pressure. And then number two, finding a way to get Devin Booker more off the ball than on the ball and let him be your lead scorer again. You know, it was mentioned already, the Chris Paul, Ricky Rubio versions of this Suns team have shown success, right? Chris Paul, that's like, holy crap, I can't believe they got Chris Paul right at the time that Devin Booker is starting to blossom as a player, right? Beginning of all-star teams. He made the All-NBA in 22. He was getting close to it being a 30-a-game scorer with Chris Paul. Like, if they can find some version of that or get anywhere close to that again, but finding a way to balance it and being able to take advantage of what Booker has been able to do as a playmaker on the ball as well, maybe that can salvage things. But at the same time, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. Who knows? Let's time out. Final timeout of the season. We got one last Hustle Award. We've got to tell you what else there is going on in the NBA. And then we'll just put a bow on the season. We got a lot of people to thank as well. That's next here on the Suns postgame show here on Arizona Sports 98.7, the Arizona Sports app, and Arizona Sports on YouTube.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So, even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Arizona businesses need more skilled workers, and our students are the solution. At the Pima Joint Technical Education District, we build the talent Arizona businesses rely on. With cutting-edge programs in health and technology and hands-on career training, our 30,000 students will graduate ready for high-demand careers. JTED builds the future of Arizona's workforce. Learn how our students will bring excellence to your business at pimajted.org. This message is sponsored by Potoff Private Philanthropy.
Nobody handed parents a manual for raising kids with smartphones. But we're learning something important. Heavy social media use can affect kids' sleep, confidence, and mental health. And simply banning it isn't realistic. What parents can do is learn how to guide kids towards a healthier balance. The Cars for Kids parenting blog offers practical advice for parents to help their children succeed in a digital world. Visit carsforkids.org/parenting, because smart kids need informed parents.
Booker
Rasheer with another steal.
Another knocked loose by Rasheer, and Booker comes up with a loose ball. Ahead to Allen. He gives to Brooks in the right corner. He penetrates, hangs, and puts it up and in off the window. Cap that basket, and the foul on the Thunder. The deuce and the damage for Dylan Brooks.
Rasheer.
Damn right, Tim Kempton. Rasheer Fleming. Shouts to him, because he came in and then immediately balled out, and it was awesome. Rasheer Fleming taking home the final Hustle Award of the 25-26 season. Man, can't believe we've already made it. It's crazy. Sun season ends tonight in downtown Phoenix. 4-game sweep at the hands of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are already through round one on their way to a title defense. Now they've got round two, and we'll tell you more about that coming up in just a bit. Thunder beat the Suns 131-122, the final score tonight in Phoenix. Welcome back into Suns postgame show. Mitch Varell is back here with you. We're wrapping up this edition of Phoenix Suns postgame and really this Phoenix Suns season right now. I don't really know if there's much more that I need to say in regards to future. There's a whole mountain of months coming up that we have to talk about the Suns offseason. And I know Allie is ready to go home and call it a good season as well. She's got work to do tomorrow anyway, so I want to be nice. there's not really much more to say about this game. We can be as frustrated as we are with how things played out throughout the series, but I think overall there is a clear disparity between these two teams as to why the Thunder are as good as they are. And yes, part of it is their ability to, for lack of a better word, create some contact. But at the same time, there are some controllables that the Suns had, and unfortunately the Thunder just outdid them most of the way. The first 3 games, it seems that the Thunder had won a lot of the margins. This was the game where the Suns won the margins, right? They won the possession battle, They won by 8 in that category. They won the turnover battle, for crying out loud. 18 or 17 turnovers by the Thunder, 12 for the Suns. They got the 3-point shot going again, 14 for 39. The problem was, so did the Thunder. The Thunder got 17 for 34 from 3. It's crazy. Overall, though, frustrating last couple of months, but I'm looking forward to where this iteration of the Suns goes, and maybe that alignment can flourish in year 2, but we will have to wait and see for that. So as far as the bracket is concerned, and this will be the last thing I leave you with before I got a laundry list of thank yous, and we got to tell you what else to watch in the NBA playoffs. That is, if you're interested in still watching NBA playoffs beyond this point. Thunder are the first team to advance, 4-0 sweep of the Suns, so they will face either the Lakers or the Rockets. Right now, Lakers are up 3-1 in that series. Kevin Durant has only played in 1 game, mind you. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then the other side of the bracket is Nuggets and Wolves and Spurs and Blazers. Spurs are up 3-1. Nuggets got a win in Game 5 tonight. Timberwolves still up 3-2 in that series. They don't have Dante DiVincenzo or Anthony Edwards, at least the rest of that series, though. So who knows? Most of you who know me, I'll just say it now. I'm very pessimistic, but that's just what comes with the territory. On the Eastern side of things, you got Pistons and Magic. Magic with a huge win in Game 4. They're up 3-1 in that series. Cavs and Raptors tied at 2 games apiece. Pivotal Game 5 tomorrow, or on Wednesday, Pivotal Game 5 tomorrow between the Hawks and the Knicks, though. That series tied at 2 apiece. And then Boston, a potential nail-in-the-coffin game tomorrow. They're up 3-1 on the 76ers. Game 5 for that one coming up tomorrow as well. I'm going to do the thank yous now, if that's okay, because there's a lot of them and I don't want to forget about them. And I don't want to step on the music. So, first of all, thank you to Kellen Olson, my cohort this season, guy by my side who's been here to vent with me about our nitpickings, if you will, and has been able to experience what a fun ride this was from start to finish. Great partner in crime. Does a great job covering this team. I can't wait to see what Kellen's got coming up for the summer, for the draft. It's going to be a great offseason. I'm looking forward to that. Allie, leading a crew of cronies, if you will, including Ryan Sikora, who's here tonight, Pit Boss Lawrence, Max, Matt. Am I forgetting anybody? I think that's everybody, right? Oh, who else am I forgetting? Just whisper. Sam, Parker. There's a whole bunch of guys. Dylan as well, helping out on Suns. Whole bunch of guys just coming in, working late nights. They're all working hard, all doing my biddings. Ryan is already crying. Unbelievable. It's crazy. Thank you to all of you guys and your crew and the work that you guys do. And lastly, of course, thank you to all of you. And this is where, behind the curtain, I'm pointing to the camera and saying all of you. But if you're listening, all of you as well, hanging out. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I'm sorry that it ended the way that it did, but I'm looking forward to another season of Suns basketball, which is crazy because usually when it gets towards the end and I get cynical about it, I'm like, all right, let's be done with it. Let's move on. Let's go on and get to the summer already. But you know what? I'm ready for next season of Suns basketball. Let's go, baby. Let's go. So thank you to all of you out there listening in, calling in, chatting in, screaming at me in direct messages. That one is for one particular person, and they know who they are. For the last time this season, a song to send us off into the summer. Go ahead. needed some sort of a happy gem of a song to get our spirits up, send us off into the summer feeling good, feeling excited, feeling happy, Now, I didn't intend it this way. Katrina and the Waves producing Walking on Sunshine. She ended up being a one-hit wonder, her and her Waves. Hopefully this Sun season is not a one-hit wonder, and it builds and it grows. Walking on Sunshine, Katrina and the Waves going to bring us home one last time here this Sun season. Here's some quick finals from today. Orlando Magic get that big Game 4 win at home, go up 3-1 in the series against the Pistons. 94-88 Magic with the win tonight. Game 5 coming up in Detroit, an important one for the number 1 seeded Pistons. And then the Nuggets staved off elimination for at least one more day in Denver. Nuggets with a 113 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves going to host a Game 6 with a chance to win in advance past the Nuggets. They've been a bugaboo for that team the last couple of years. If you're looking for some basketball tomorrow, we got 3 games for you. 76ers and Celtics, 4 p.m. Boston up 3-1 in that series, looking to advance. 5 p.m. Atlanta Hawks and New York Knicks in a pivotal Game 5. That series tied at 2 games apiece. And then at 6:30 tomorrow evening, Portland Trailblazers trying to stave off elimination. San Antonio Spurs trying to advance in Game 5. San Antonio up 3-1 in San Antonio. That's going to do it for the season. I'm all done. I'm out of words. I'm tired of talking. I got to take these headphones out of my ears before I go deaf. So we leave you with Katrina and the Waves. Have a great offseason, everybody. We'll be back again in October. It'll be here before you know it. So long. Have a good night.
Walking on
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I